when whippoorwill call, and even is night, I hurry to my blue heaven. You turn to the right.
Yeah, welcome to episode number 7 of My Blue Heaven, and it is the 28th of January down here at Carlton training. Boys are still going at it. The hardest part of the session is over. It's been a very high intensity training session down here at Princes Park this morning. Just a couple of things in regards to the rehab group. Obviously the news overnight that Alex Vassallo has broken his arm in an incident over the weekend. He was no show. No Matthew Cruiser with that knee operation. Dockety's away at the moment on leave. So those boys were not here. And an interesting one is Tom Bugg. Didn't do much training last Friday, and he was a no-show here this morning at training. Lang, Jones, Cunningham. Now, David Cunningham's been added to the rehab group. He only participated in one half of the match sim on Friday, then did a little bit of running, so I suggested he's pulled up a little bit sore after last Friday. He did a bit of running in McCready as well. Williamson and Marchbank are the two concerns. Both boys look like they have back issues, and they did pretty much stuff all here this morning, just sort of standing with their hands on their hips in their runners, talking to assistant coaches. Did a little bit of handball, then went straight inside. So that's Caleb Marchbank and Tom Williamson. Good news is Will Setterfield just about completed all of the training and looks really good at the moment. So he's probably only maybe a week away from doing the whole lot. And also Mitch McGovern participated in most of the session here this afternoon, or here this morning. Garlett left the track early after doing some of the match sim. Jared Pickett came out with a big heavy knee brace, obviously, after hurting that before Christmas. Did a little bit of handball, went back inside. LeBoy ran away from the group, trying to improve his endurance work. So they're just a couple of the players that are in the rehab group at the moment. The big one here, I suppose, is Tom Bugg, the rookie. On the rookie list at the moment. We got across from GWS and Melbourne. Didn't do it a lot on Friday and didn't see him at all this morning. Yeah, I know that there appears to be quite a few injuries at the moment. A lot of Carlton supporters are quite despondent at the moment at the amount of injuries we seem to be having. But what I can tell you from training, any training session so far, the boys are just going at such a hard rate. The intensity this year has really lifted over the pre-season. I just want to talk about the assistant coaches. Very, very vocal in today's session. The likes of Cam Bruce, Dale Amos, John Barker, Watson and Davenport. And a lot of this is coming from the sidelines from Robert Walls. We know that Walls is now working at the club. He's also had numerous chats throughout this session with Brendan Bolton. I've just noticed that the boys are very vocal out there, demanding a lot of the players, which they should do. Non-stop intensity, non-stop accountability, work rate, effort, adhering to a game plan. Every session so far this year has been very systematic. It has got a real purpose to it. And I reckon that the assistant coaches have sat down over the pre-season and they really need to lift their intensity as well. And the boys have really, really responded in a very, very positive way to this new look. I suppose one of the highlights of this morning's session, and quite a good crowd down here viewing this session, was the 500 metres that the boys did interspersed with training. So what would happen, the boys would do some skills or do some match sim, and then they'd be called over. I think Andrew Russell was taking them through this. So they'd be called over to the boundary line and they'd be made to sprint 500 metres. They did 5 of them over about a 45-minute period, and they were absolutely brutal. And you get a real indication of which boys really enjoy this type of exercise. And some of the boys have got massive motors. The Curnow brothers, obviously Ed, fantastic, and Charlie at his size, I mean, his running ability is great. Lockie O'Brien was good. SPS, Sam Petreski-Seaton, has really improved his endurance as well. He was right up there, and Jack Silvani as well. I suppose a couple of the players that could really improve in this area, obviously the big boys, but Zach Fisher was an interesting one at the back of the group, and also Cam Polson, a couple of the smaller type players that don't seem to really relish this type of training. Special mention to Sam Walsh and Matthew Cottrell. Unbelievable athletes in terms of their running power. They were right up the front in a number of these 500 metres, and they were absolutely brutal. Great to see a lot of supporters down here cheering the boys on as they went past the finishing line. In regards to match sim, you know, they did a little bit here this morning, not as much as Friday. You know, the usual suspects, you know, performing really well. So I'm here to, I suppose, talk about some of the lesser likes, some of the blokes coming through. We've had 48 changes since Brendan Bolton, that's player changes, gone out of the club since Brendan Bolton arrived here at the end of 2015. 48 players, that is staggering. To think that we've lost that many players, and most of them have been either delisted or traded to another club. Not many retirees in that lot, so we've pretty much got a new group here over the last couple of years. So the big improvement's going to come obviously from the blokes we've traded for, a couple of the rookies, and obviously the draftees. A couple of blokes that are tracking really well. I reckon Lockie O'Brien is having a really good second pre-season. Really got a fantastic motor, put on a little bit of size. Finbarra Dwyer, I know I mentioned him in the last session, but he looks like he's going to be a really fine prospect. Pick 60s, I reckon, is going to be a steal for him. He's a very smart player, beautiful kick, and he was one of the youngsters that was right at the top of the group in the 500 metres. And young Matthew Owies showed a little bit in the match sim as well as a small forward. He's the Category B rookie with the basketball background. Not a lot of him, pretty small, quite solid, but knows how to find the footy. I thought he was quite impressive as well, and great to see Will Setterfield out there. I mean, this boy, I mean, if you want to see him up close, he really is a fine mover and uses a pill really well. It's going to be great to have a player on our list who can hit a target. A couple of the other boys who are tracking well, I mean, I mentioned Harry McKay, Charlie Curnow, obviously. These boys now in their third and fourth seasons are tracking really well. But the big one, I think, here is going to be the race for that last spot. Well, there's 2 spots left on our list, but young Matthew Cottrell is really chasing hard on Michael Gibbons. He's very, very impressive, this young Matthew Cottrell, in terms of his running power. Can find the footy, he's a beautiful kick, shows a bit of courage as well. And I know a lot out there think that Matthew Gibbons is pretty much a shoo-in to get that spot come mid-March, but I reckon Matthew Cottrell's right on his heels, and it wouldn't surprise me if both boys get a gig here at Carlton. That's about wrap for the 28th of September down here at Princes Park. If you like these videos, please subscribe, give us a like, and I'll see you again soon on My Blue Heaven.
Hey, that leads you to my blue heaven. You find a golden place by your place.